Good evening, humans. Tyrannosaurus Moth here, and tonight we're taking a look at the Storm Collectibles Mortal Kombat 3 Motaro figure, or as my 3-year-old son refers to him, the Goat Man who knocks down all the guys and ninjas. This is a figure I have technically been waiting since 1995 for, way back when a young Moth in his human form was walking into the arcade at the Liberty Tree Mall in Danvers, Mass, and just seeing all the machines, and then settling upon Mortal Kombat 3, which I had also experienced Mortal Kombat 2 in that very arcade. So that was a very special place for me. And just seeing this thing, I mean, I loved Goro and Kintaro as these crazy characters, but Motaro, I don't know, it just really struck a chord with me. I just loved the immensity of it, the just dynamics of the design, even though it's just a centaur minotaur mix, but it just works so well. And this figure is pretty much everything I could have hoped for. Not only that, but it's technically 1.5 figures, because not only do you get Motaro, but you get a skeleton, which I think is basically the skeletons you were getting for the Golden Axe packs, just all bloodied up. And then there's a bloody version of Motaro that comes with a translucent green version. But this is the standard version that we're going to look at tonight. So without further ado, let's do this. Okay, and kicking things off as we do, talking about aesthetics. It's a dream. I love the way this came out. I love Storm Collectibles anyway, but they've really killed it with the Mortal Kombat stuff and the Street Fighter stuff. But this, they absolutely nail big characters, and there's certain things that are definitely hallmarks of the Storm Collectibles look. And further on that, actually, before I keep going on, this review is going to be a little bit different because I'm actually going to be including everything with the skeleton as well, because while it is technically an accessory, it's really a full-on figure. It's articulated and has its own things. So it's kind of a double review. I guess, as I had said in the intro, it's kind of a figure and a half, so I'm going to treat it as such. But going into that, using it as a segue, looking at the skeleton itself, just really well sculpted skeleton. The paint of the blood and the dirt just looks really cool and pretty nasty. Just can use it for any of your Mortal Kombat figures or any of your 7-inch figure displays, so really cool. Proportions look great and totally in line with both Storm stuff, and again, this will probably work with some NECA stuff as well due to the scale. Going on to the main event, Motaro, just proportions are great. This is everything I had hoped for. Again, the horse part looks just as good as the, I guess, more human-esque part. The tail is great. The shade of silver, absolutely perfect, just like it looked in the game. Paint is super crisp, as I would expect from Storm Collectibles. Sculpt on the face is just dead on. Exactly what you would expect. The proportions of the horns are great. The only, I guess, weird part with it, and this again is the kind of hallmark of Storm Collectibles that I was talking about, is the delts kind of very, very bulky. So his shoulders end up being super, super wide, but it works. It's not distractingly so, and certainly the more poses you get it in, the more it just kind of becomes not an issue. Only other thing I'm going to point out is that this top chest piece is rubber, and because of that, when you articulate it certain ways, you will get some gapping. So we see it in the front, and if we go all the way forward, you can see kind of a huge gap there. So that's something to be careful of, and that will be relevant in the articulation section naturally. And the same thing can happen at the neck, so you got to make sure that this is up and seated in the right position. But beyond that, just absolutely gorgeous figure. And now the time has come to talk about accessories, and my friends, his accessories have accessories. It's just absolutely fantastic. My mind is just absolutely blown. I thought I loved this figure, and then I opened it up and saw the accessories having accessories and just fell in love even more. So I'm going to start off with Motaro proper and then move on from there. So out of the package, he comes with a more stern kind of neutral face that you saw before. In addition to that, out of the package, he comes with the fists, But in addition to fists, you also get some just kind of splayed out hands. And as you can see here, he has his kind of grippy hands, I'm going to say. And I'm going to do this because the skeleton, it's not going to work on camera, is it? Oh, no, there you go. It fits. Like, it holds the weight of the skeleton. That's just wonderful. And just nice snug fit. It comes out just as easy. Beyond that, we get a yelling head. Also just beautifully sculpted and painted. And then we even get 2 extra pegs, which I believe are the wrist pegs, which is really nice. Always extra bonus when you get that. Moving to the middle here, we have the little blast effect, his projectile from the game. Looks pretty damn accurate. And you get a stand for it. So you get this little circular base, and then you get all these segments, and you even get an extra bottom segment. Not really sure exactly. Actually, these all come with instructions. I didn't read those. So I'm going to do that later. And then, of course, we get to the skeleton, which is fully articulated, painted up. Again, kind of went over that. Articulation will be next, and I'll go over the articulation there. But beyond that, you get a full set of hands with the skeleton. So you get your fists right out of the box. And then beyond that, you even get grippy hands. So if you have weapons, like 1/10 scale weapons, you can use those. You get relaxed kind of pointy hands. You get claw hands. And you get totally relaxed hands. Just so much. So obviously I'm very happy here, and you're getting your money's worth plus when it comes to accessories. And with articulation, here's where things get a little interesting, because as I'm sure you can imagine, when your character is a horseman, ram man monster, things work a little bit differently. So as I had said before, we're going to go over both the skeleton and Motaro, starting top to bottom, from top to bottom with both. Starting with the skeleton, just because it's a little more standard, and pretty much everything's on a ball joint. So we don't really get any up with it. We do get a whole bunch of down. The jaw is articulated, but there is a heavy paint on here, and I'm not going to force the issue. So, I mean, that does articulate, just keep in mind. So your results, or your results may differ depending on how heavily the paint is applied there. Shoulders, another ball joint, so you get your bicep swivel from there. You also get it in the elbow. Again, you're not getting it, you gotta be really careful with it. It does feel a lot more fragile than it actually is, but again, I'm really not gonna force the issue. Ball joint in the wrist. So you get a lot of motion there, you can go all the way around. You get 2 ball joints here in the midsection. So you got one here right under the rib cage, and then one right above the hips. So you can fold over completely. You can come back relatively generously, but not crazy far. And same thing with the hips. Ball joint there. You get a little bit of turning. It takes a little bit of work. So there's a ball in the actual hip, and then a ball in the femur. You get your about 90 degree, maybe a little bit more than that in the knee, and you can point and come forward, and you get your rocker because again it's a ball joint, and you even get again that one's kind of painted shut. Other side, I think I get a little more. There you go, and you get your toe point, or your toe articulation. So there's that. So that does it with the skeleton. Have him hug Ryu. And then we're going to move on to Motaro. So, top half of Motaro is actually it's really hard to do this because he's so giant. Top half is a little more standard for your Storm Collectibles figures. So, there is a ball joint at the head, and that is it's like a ball peg, and it comes down. I can't really get that down for you to see it, but you get some pretty good forward. You come back, you can look up. You definitely get some side to side there. You can twist all the way around, because again, just a ball joint. And again, this is nice and soft, gives you a lot of space. So you got your very generous butterfly joint up here. You have your bicep swivel. You don't get a full fold with the arms because he's so beefy. And then you come to the wrist and you get a ball joint here. So you got pretty much like universal rotation. It's pretty cool. Midsection, as I had shown before, actually you can see inside. My lighting's not going to allow it, but you can actually see the inner workings. So double ball joint in there, which gives you like all sorts of motion. You just got to be careful of this rubbery piece kind of hitting there. His abs are a lot more solid, but you can come forward and come up to neutral. And then we get down to the real interesting part, the legs. So front legs come out pretty generously. You have a little bit of a hinge here, and then a hinge here at the knee, and then a hinge right at the hoof. Same for the other side naturally. Back legs, same thing-ish. They do come out a little bit, so you got some motion there. You got your hinge at the knee. So not a crazy amount of motion, which is good because this guy needs to be stable. He is very pretty heavy for a figure. And then you get a little bit there at the hoof. And the tail, fully bendy. So you can go anywhere with this thing. Full extension, and this thing just takes up so much real estate. It's amazing. I love it. And there you go. That will do it for articulation. And rounding things out with some size comparisons, here is Motaro with the rest of the Storm Collectibles Mortal Kombat figures I have. And here he is with a couple of Storm Collectibles Street Fighter figures. Here he is with various NECA figures. And here he is with various Hasbro lines. And finally, an Articulated Icons Ninja, a Plunderlings Fawn, and yours truly as an Articulated Icons Ninja. So, my final thoughts on Motaro. No lie, this is a dream come true. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I have dreamed of having this figure since 26 years ago when I saw this in the arcade, and this absolutely delivers. Storm kills it every time, and this is no exception. I'm a little sad that I don't have Shao Kahn and Goro to accompany him. I missed out on those, and they are stupid expensive right now, so I'm kind of hoping Storm reissues those or redoes different releases of them at some point. If you're listening, Storm, please. And beyond that, I couldn't recommend it enough. I will put links up to it in the description, and I know that there's also the bloody variant, so I'll link to both down there so you can choose which one you want, because the bloody variant also comes with a translucent green skeleton, so depending on what you're looking for, they got you covered. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all of you, and if you enjoyed this and you like any of my other videos, please check them out. If you haven't checked them out and you want to help out, comment, subscribe, and share as always. If you want to take it a step further, again, links in the description for my music and Ko-Fi, stuff like that. And with that being said, I will see you in the next video. So take care of yourself, take care of those around you and your friends, and be well. Bye.